Coming up on this episode of the Spiro Podcast. What's one thing WOW does that most media companies are afraid to try, Todd?
I would say a sales team. We've invested a lot of money in a sales team. We spend a lot of money on people. And I didn't always have that thinking because as you begin to bring in revenue, in the early days, most or all of that revenue is your pay. So as you scale a company, your revenue goes up, but disproportionately to what it costs to pay good people at your company.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Madwell.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software company. It's designed to help you maintain, run your day-to-day real estate media business, but ultimately help it grow, help it scale, and make things more efficient for you. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Craig Magram, and for those of you returning, welcome back. It's going to be a fun episode today. Todd has come up with a fun topic. And speaking of Todd, good morning, Todd, co-host, owner, founder of Spiro. Good to see you again.
Craig, it's great to be on here. We're going to do something fun today, a little bit different. Before I do, I just want to make sure that you all have your calendars booked for November 12th to 14th in Orlando, Florida, REPP 2026. Please come join us, book your ticket. It's going to be an incredible time. We're going to be there. Team's going to be there. The whole REPP team, Eli Jones. So this is this one event that I look forward to the end of every year. Every year. And it's just a great time. So if you haven't been, or if you have been before and you haven't booked a ticket, grab your ticket. They're going to sell out. That thing is growing like crazy. And we're just excited to see you and connect with you in person in November.
Sunny, warm Florida in November.
Yes.
That's a great location. I love that.
Yeah. And the fun thing about the location is it's at a resort, if you will. So, we're all the conference is there. You're most likely going to stay there. They've got great rates. You're going to eat there. So the cool thing is when you're walking down after the conference is done, it's going to be filled with real estate photographers. Like, I think this is taking the normal real estate conference that they've done even up 10 notches, just because everybody's going to be so immersed there, doing life, building their business, having fun together.
That's the one thing about the conference I really enjoyed this past November was just the organic conversations that happened, grabbing meals together, talking business, talking life, talking faith, even a lot of faith conversations, and how that, impacts your daily business life and personal life. And it's a good group of people. I really enjoyed it.
It is. I'm super excited for your session this year, Craig. In the morning, you're doing faith and yoga. So I just thought that I'm looking forward to those times.
Nobody wants to watch Craig do yoga. Oh my gosh.
Was that not? Maybe I read that wrong.
Yeah. Wow. Faith and jujitsu. Now that could be fun.
There you go. Yeah. Let me punch you in the throat.
Wow, we're getting off to a weird start. Okay.
This is going to be a weird one, y'all. Craig, what are we doing today?
All right. Well, Todd has come up with a great topic. The title starts, No Filter. So this ought to be interesting. No filter, 20 questions we probably shouldn't answer.
That's it, Craig. Let's jump right in. Number one.
This makes me nervous.
Yes. This makes me nervous. Like Christmas to me. Craig, one word to describe the real estate photography industry right now.
Jeez, one word? Geez, I can't think of anything super interesting. Competitive is what I'm thinking of.
I thought vibrant right away, and I thought potential, and I still think that way. And it's funny that you said competitive. I agree with you, but I think there's so much potential in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And competitive isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it forces you to sharpen and be the best. I feel like an Army commercial, be the best you can be. All those old 80s and 90s commercials, Army commercials. Anyway.
I think this perspective, if you're sitting listening to this today and you're going like, yeah, it's not great. Like whatever one word that you said and you're like, hey, it's not great. I would just ask you to reevaluate that. And is that a story? Is that a soundtrack that you've been playing for too long? Do you need to throw it away? Do you need an accountability buddy? Do you just need to get rid of some of that old baggage just to look at it with fresh eyes? Do you need to get off social media because everybody only posts when things go well? We screw things up every single day. And we choose to celebrate the wins. We just spent 45 minutes with the team at WOW and we talked about wins. Everybody in the room gave one. So I feel for you if your one word is not a positive word right now. Doing hard is real. I just ask that you do something to get yourself out of it. And that initiative starts with you and then lean on other people for help.
There you go. All right, there was question number 1. Number 2, you're stirring it up with this one here.
I am. Yeah.
We're gonna open a comment war. We normally don't discuss things like this, but best camera brand. Go.
Canon.
For what reason and what purpose?
I've always shot Canon. I like the picture. I like the way it feels in my hands. I know where the buttons are at. We use Sony and iPhones at WOW, but I always shot on Canons. I appreciate it. I like the white L series lenses. I just like everything about it.
I'll agree with you on Canon for everything but real estate. but that's because I'm used to Sony, shooting Sony and mirrorless and small and compact, for real estate. Makes it super easy to get around. Picture quality is great. I've been using it since 2017 when I got into this field. But for my own personal camera, for everything else I do, portraits, landscape, nature, I'm all Canon. Now, no hate to Nikon. It's not that I'm a Canon fanboy. It's just I'm invested heavily into Canon, and I just have never used Nikon. So anyway,
Nikon people, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't get it. Your buttons are in the wrong spots. And what Canon did with the 5D Mark II many years ago to give us video with a shallow depth of field and all this fun stuff, and then Magic Lantern, what they put out to hack this. It was just a fun time to be involved with camera systems.
Never had the Mark II. I had the Mark IV, but now I'm on R5. So love it. Okay. Leave a comment. Best camera brand.
Yeah, drop yours below.
Yeah.
You guys can do this for all these questions. It'll be fun. All right, Craig, back to me for you first. Drone shots, are they overused or are they still essential?
Definitely still essential. There's no debate. I think we're selling more drone than we ever have this year. Now, you said what was overused? On certain property types, I think it can be overused. I've had a couple of different clients that ordered drone on a really small city lot, crowded with trees, and it's like, this isn't giving you any marketing value. And I've actually advised a couple of clients away from drone on certain types of properties. It's the right tool for the right job.
Yeah,
that's a no-brainer for me.
I agree with you, Craig. I think if an agent uses it every time and without any thought about the property, this is no different than the way we try to educate our clients on when, to use video or a vertical video versus a horizontal agent on camera, all of these things. I think the good news for us as an industry is that drone is being used more. So as that raises the floor of marketing, that means your AOV gets higher, and then you continue to help the agents market better with more services, which means your AOV goes up.
Right. Yeah, that was an easy one. Okay, here's one. Might get a little debate. Twilight shoots. Is it worth the headache, or is it overpriced drama? Interesting phraseology there.
It's never been worth it for us at WOW. The thought of me going back out or anyone going back out at twilight hours just makes me want to, I don't even like doing, when I did portraits and all that stuff, I didn't even like to do it then. I just like my evenings, and I have way better things that I want to do in the evening than to go stand at a house and try to shoot it with the sun going down.
What about virtual twilights?
Oh, we sell them like crazy. That's all we do. We don't do a real twilight, and virtual twilights we feel are 90 or 95% of the way there.
So I might cause some controversy here. Do you think they're overused though now? compared to when they were first being used?
I think they're used more, Craig. And I will say, for those of you that are like out on in these beautiful parts of the country, I think there is a purpose for Twilights. And I know you guys make good money with Twilight. So I'm not saying they should not be right for everyone, or what we do is what you should do. Beautiful house on the water, on a cliff, looking, there's a reason for it. And there's this high-end feel. I do think they're being used more. I don't think they're overused.
See, I've felt in the last year or so here in the flatlands of Northwest Ohio that don't have beautiful scenic cliff views and water views other than the muddy Maumee. It just seems like they've kind of started dominating the MLS. And to me, they kind of lost their uniqueness. Like when they first came out, a Twilight would catch your eye because there was hardly any Twilights being done. And so it would make that listing stick out to someone searching the MLS or Zillow or whatever. But now they seem, to me, at least in my market, they seem so common that it's like, it might have lost a little bit of its Twilight luster. I don't know.
Craig, say on top of that, I got a bonus question for you. So are black and whites the new Twilight?
I didn't know black and whites were a thing.
Well, they're not. Maybe I just made it up. And think about it. You triggered a memory. The way we used to sell Twilights is if everybody has a daytime photo on the MLS, why don't you put a Twilight?
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So as we're scrolling on the MLS, if everybody's either day or night, put a black and white up there on that sucker and see what it does.
A la Ansel Adams,
Yeah, I loved Ansel. Is that against MLS rules? Do you know, Craig?
I have no idea. It's never come up.
I kind of want to try this, see what it does.
That would be interesting. Okay.
Sorry, the tangent here, but think about it. If you put a black and white first and then put a color of the same image second, think about when a client clicks on that and they go, bam, it light boxes on their screen and then they arrow over. It's like the black and white morphs into color. I think it'd be cool.
That could be. I could see that.
But I haven't had all my coffee, so maybe it's a terrible idea.
I might use that later in this line of questioning. All right. Maybe you should ask me this one.
Yeah. Okay, Craig, number 5. What is the most chaotic thing that happened on a WOW shoot in the last 6 months?
Most chaotic thing. It's got to be the $1.2 million house that I had to shoot that the owner did really no prep for. It was just stuff everywhere. And I had to keep my jaw from physically dropping in front of the seller when I walked in. I'm like, are you kidding me? What do I do here? This is a 1.2 million, which for some of you in other parts of the country, 1.2 is like, I do that every day.
That's like a dump.
Right. In California, that's normal. Not in Toledo, okay? That's not a normal.
That's 7,000 square feet on a couple acres and a pond and a pool.
Right. Yeah, it was stuff everywhere, and the realtor was there trying to help move things. It's like, dude, seriously. So I think it's when the house isn't ready. It's chaotic. It's when I forget stuff because I have to bounce around, and I hate bouncing around because I know I'm going to miss a half bath somewhere.
Yeah. I have one in memory. It just happened not long ago. We actually had a neighbor shoot a gun at a drone.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yes. And then the neighbor denied it. And Craig, another Craig of ours, he didn't have an angle or wasn't recording when the gun actually fired. And there wasn't bullet holes in the drone. So nothing came up. Well, we're trying to help him kind of prove a case there. But we've had that happen twice. It's crazy. Like that just shows how heightened drone is and people hearing that. But to get out a gun, and this isn't a neighborhood, y'all, to shoot at it.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Oh, I had one more of a bonus. This wasn't at WOW, but I was on a coaching call the other day, and someone came on and they asked about how to handle an unhappy client. And you mentioned, Craig, going from room ping-ponging and missing half baths. This kind of thing happened. But not only did that happen, but the owner of the business found out that the owner of the home was carrying a cardboard cutout of John Cena from room to room following the photographer.
To put in the pictures or just
No.
carrying it with him?
Just behind the photographer, like John Cena, like staring at you. Like, it's strange.
Talk about breaking your concentration.
My goodness.
What would have been epic is if that John Cena cutout was just in every picture of every room. You would not forget that house. I guarantee you wouldn't forget that house.
That's the new Twilight, Craig.
There we go. John Cena cutout in every picture.
I'm sure all of you have a good story. Please leave it below. These are the fun ones. These are like the battle stories that we all tell. Let us know what your craziest thing that happened the last 6 months at your media company is.
All right. I got the next one. If Todd had to photograph a listing himself tomorrow, what's the one thing that would go wrong?
Everything.
How long has it been since you've shot a house? You've shot a house. You've got stories.
Probably 10. I mean, I've probably shot 10 or 15,000 houses. I've shot a lot of houses, but it's been a long time since I've shot a house. It's been 10 years. Just a house. Like, I know we had an unhappy client at a multi-million-dollar house where Ryan and I went in and I took the photos. He did the video. Man, I was sweating. Taking those photos. And, for me, it's just, I'll go back to my old equipment to take photos because I feel good with it. I don't use the new stuff. I know where the buttons are at. For me, it's composition a lot. It's just making sure that I frame it. I hit my, not point down too much. So I just don't think they'd be greatly composed photos.
No?
They would be in the bubble. Like, I wouldn't fail, but they would not be like what I was in practice.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. It's like riding a bike, Todd.
Okay, Craig, what do you you have to answer that question too. This is a good one. What would I screw up?
Oh, like I said, for me, I know my chances of screwing up go up significantly when I have to shoot out of order. I'm a creature of habit, my muscle memory. If I have to start upstairs and then, Todd, I had a listing 2 weeks ago where the sellers were completely not ready. They were cleaning all floors. Like, there was no floor that was completely done. So I had to start upstairs in the bedroom. And while I was doing that, downstairs still was not ready. So I went ahead and started on my video, but I had to wait for the primary bedroom. I got the primary bedroom in the video, went downstairs, and I forgot to shoot the primary bedroom photos.
Yeah.
And I had to go back. That's what goes wrong for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
we all do
myself. Yeah, kicked myself.
I think it's back to me. Craig, should photographers charge for re-edits when the agent changes their mind?
A simple yes or no. The first one, I'm going to say no. If they're a loyal client, do a re-edit. No, don't charge.
I'm going to read into the question a little bit more because it seems like the client told you to do one thing and they want you to change it. Just for devil's advocate, I would say yes. And I think the thing that I've learned over the years is that I've always been so price conscious in charging that it's a lot of times not about the price, it's about the service you give. There's many things that I do that I'm happy to pay for when I ask for more. And what I'm worried about is that I get the level of service or quality of product that I want. I'm not so concerned about a charge to get there.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying, like, I've changed my mind over the years because I love to give everything away, but that just defeats the whole reason of
business. We are in this to make some money.
Yes.
Okay. What do real estate agents complain about that you have zero sympathy for? Let's open up that can.
What do real estate agents complain about that I have no sympathy for?
I would love comments on this if you're watching on YouTube.
I just think of my mother. Like, she complains about technology and computers and putting things in, and she doesn't use an electronic signature thing. She handwrites everything. I'm just like, Mom, you just need to pay someone to do it. I think a lot of agents, and I love them. They've built just about everything I have. They just look for too many ways to do it themselves. Like, just focus on, and this is what the good ones do. They focus on what makes them the most money.
Right.
And then they get rid of everything else. That's what every good business owner does.
Focus on revenue generating activities, not stuff you can contract out to somebody else.
Mom, pay the secretary in the office $20 to put this in so you have an electronic signature. And then when you're doing that, please just have her export the data and put it into a CRM for you. She's got it's just like some of these things are so simple. And I get she grew up in a different time. She's 80. So it's way different. But I'm just like, Mom, I got no time. No sympathy for you.
Respect to your mom, though. 80 years old and still an active agent.
Man, she's
that's
cooking.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Should I answer that one?
Yeah, Craig, what you probably get more complaints than I do from agents.
What do agents complain about that you have zero sympathy? Okay, I've got a story. Just dealt with this past week. Well, it wasn't so much the agent. It was the seller who, I can't give too many details in case they're watching. Anyway, the whole house was a slight off-white on the paint, okay? And we shot it. The seller was livid that we did not nail the particular shade of off-white that they specifically chose for their house.
Off-white?
Navajo white.
Oh,
and we didn't nail the Navajo white. And they sent us a swatch of the color, which Brittany used the Photoshop color picker and picked exactly the shade that they sent. This kind of ties back to the re-edits request.
Yeah.
And so we re-edited the set with that exact match. No, that's not right. Here, try this. I had zero sympathy for that. I'm like, no buyer is going to care about your Navajo white. They're not even going to know what I was so done with that, Todd. Zero compassion.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention that Navajo white changes
depending on the light.
The temperature in the room.
Thank you. Now, the realtor did try to explain that to the seller, and the seller just would not listen to that. It's like, what do you do? Anyway, zero sympathy.
I don't blame you there, Craig.
All right.
Number 9, what's a feature every real estate photographer thinks they need, but they actually do not?
Shoot. Can you come back to me on that? I don't know.
I'm probably taking a little leadway here on the question, but new equipment.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Having to have the latest, greatest equipment. I'm using a Sony A6400, and a lot of you are way past the A7000. None of my clients complain about the quality of our photos on the 64. Yeah, you don't have to have the latest, greatest.
Yeah, I just think it's a tool. You have it. I think, nobody's pixel peeping. And if they are, they should hire an architectural photographer.
There you go. I agree with that. I stay silent in a lot of the questions I see on Facebook. Sorry. Seen a feisty side of Craig this morning. All right. Todd, number 10, is Matterport dead, dying, or just waiting?
Well, for what their faces who bought it, they're hoping it's not dying, right? Because they paid a lot of money for it. I think it's definitely, or just waiting. That's funny in the question.
Yeah.
Just waiting.
Waiting to die.
So with all technology, you're always going to have competition. We have competition, like we mentioned at the top of the hour. It is there's definitely more competition, and the large search engine out there that begins with the last letter of the alphabet, they have a competing product, and that's what they're putting a lot of their betting on, so to say. They want to sell that competing product. So definitely, I dying, I don't know, but I think it's definitely declining.
I'd agree 110%. I don't remember the last time I shot a Matterport. It's all been the Z word. Multiple times a week I shoot those. And like I said, I don't remember the last time I shot a Matterport. No one's asked about it. We still offer it, but
Yeah, I think it was like they were the first ones. I remember when we got our first Matterport camera, like I probably had to take out a small loan, more second
right.
mortgage on my home to get this stupid thing in. And I got it in and it was really cool and it was different. And I actually sold it to the agents that were looking for something that's different. And the dollhouse view, and it had a really, it was like, wow, this is neat. And then everybody went, oh, wait a minute, that's a lot of work to actually use the tour.
Right.
And so I think just the reiterations of it by some other companies they've done a nice job with it. There's just more options out there.
I have a slightly unique view on this. For a few years, I worked in an e-commerce department at a label company close to where I live. And one of the things that they pounded into our heads working in our e-commerce department was get people to the information they want and need in as few clicks as possible. And the first time I did a Matterport tour or used one, not shooting one, I thought, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. You can spin around and look around. But after about 5 clicks of trying to navigate through the house, I got tired and frustrated because it wasn't super smooth. And I'm like, this is kind of a pain in the butt. And ever since then, I've not really been that big on Matterport because I know you want to get to the information you need as simply and easily as possible. And so for me, I've talked with agents about it here in our market, and I think that's why Matterport never really took off in a huge way, is that video is so much easier. The end user, all they have to do is hit play. And if you're shooting a video correctly or thoroughly, the viewer's going to get a good layout of the property. They're going to see those connecting walking shots and get an idea in their head of the floor plan of the house. And so I've just kept pushing video, and it's stayed strong versus Matterport that, like I said, I don't remember the last time I shot one.
Yeah. 100%, Craig. Agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one. It's been talked to death in the groups. Will AI replace real estate photographers in 10 years?
2037. Oh man, my kids will be graduated. No, not whatsoever. Not even close. AI will change it. AI is changing things right now. The calculator changed things way back when the calculator was invented. Things have always changed. The spaceship mission, when we sent astronauts to the moon for the first time, it took a computer the size of a large room and 400,000 people to get the lunar module there and back. And now that technology is in your pocket, and it's not your cell phone, it's your key fob to your car.
That's crazy.
Okay. Your key fob has more technology than to get the lunar module there and back. So when I think about that, technology is always going to change, and it's evolving quicker right now. But service businesses will always exist. They are actually becoming more valuable. As a side note, building good relationships, connecting with people. There's an incredible opportunity because AI has no connection to anybody. It's a false connection. It screws up and it doesn't really understand. It does a good job at a lot of things, but it cannot replace what we do every day.
Somehow a camera still has to get inside of that house.
Well, Craig, will there be robots that go into the house?
Yeah. I don't think homeowners will stand for that.
I think my wife will be shooting all of them.
I know your wife. I'm trying to picture that.
Yeah, I got a robot lawnmower here recently, and she's like, I don't like that thing at all. She's like, I think we should get rid of it. I'm like, I'd get you a vacuum. And she's like, no, not whatsoever. No, I don't like it at all. She just goes out to her garden. She has her garden out there. I'm like, ooh.
You laughed. I laughed. The lawnmower laughed.
Yeah, his name's Little Daryl.
Yeah,
he's working right now.
We have a Roomba. We named ours Alice. Anyway.
All right, Craig, back to me asking you, is video actually worth what agents pay for it?
Absolutely. All day long.
We just pretending that?
All the algorithms push video. No, It's worth it, especially if you use something like a Merge Fleet where you've automated the editing and made videos super efficient. If you've got a standard way of shooting video that makes it efficient to shoot, yeah, it's worth it all day long.
Yeah, I agree. No argument there. We can move on to the
Yeah.
next. I think we all agree here.
All right. Let's see. Number 13. What's more important to the transaction, the photographer or the agent?
So this is referring to the real estate transaction,
Okay.
I believe.
I would say that's kind of a broad, interesting question.
Yeah, AI kind of screwed this one up. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if we're referring to the real estate transaction selling the house, I love y'all. I'm one of you as well, but the agent's way more important to selling the house.
Right. Yeah, don't worry about AI replacing your job as a photographer when it's coming up with questions like this.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. We need a sound effect there. That was a fail.
We might have one. We might have. All right. Number 14. What's one thing WoW does that most media companies are afraid to try, Todd?
I would say a sales team. We've invested a lot of money in a sales team. We spend a lot of money on people. And I didn't always have that thinking because as you begin to bring in revenue, in the early days, most or all of that revenue is your pay. So as you scale a company, your revenue goes up, but disproportionately to what it costs to pay good people at your company. So as you grow, you have to hire ahead of your revenue, which means you have to spend money then to hope to get the revenue, to have the revenue curve up enough so that you make more money.
That's a hard lesson if you're fiscally conservative and not real keen on risk. And that was me in a nutshell, Todd. When I first got into this, I had trouble pulling the trigger on buying a drone.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I needed a drone, that aerial shots were going to be mandatory at some point, but I didn't want to spend what was it, $1,400 back then for a Phantom 4 and a couple of batteries and a case. But man, I made that money up pretty darn quick after I bought it. I'm like, oh, okay.
This is how, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. What else can I buy?
Going back to having the latest and greatest.
Yeah. Right. Craig, if WoW had to cut one service tomorrow, what would it be and why?
None of our videos. Can't be photos, obviously. Can't be drone. It'd have to be one of our add-ons if we had to. Oh, Matterport. Why? I haven't shot one in forever. Zillow 3D seems to have taken over.
Mm-hmm.
Just not a whole lot of interest in it. No, yeah, that was an easy one.
Yeah, I would agree. I agree with you 100%. Get rid of that one. If it was one service category, this is a tough one. I would pick 3D in general. We're leaning more into video. Yeah, I like you said, we have to have drone. You're not cutting photos. You're not cutting video. Video is part of agent on camera. And I think that's more important than ever. I'd cut the 3D.
Let's see, number 16. What's a business decision that one of you made that the other thought was completely wrong at the time? Oh, so this is kind of between us.
Oh,
I'd be interested in hearing your thought on that towards me.
This is a tough one.
Well, I know I think I know what it would be because we do have different approaches on it.
Well, I might not be going the same direction, but I'm going to cheat on what was shared this morning in our morning meeting where Jess, our head of ops at WoW, complimented Craig on letting go more. So I think this idea and Craig is fabulous and Craig is easy to love. The more people that use WoW in his market, the harder it is for Craig to distribute his time. And the more pressure there is for Craig and then all of you, put yourself in this situation to feel like you have enough time for everyone. Craig is definitely a people first mentality, and that can be a very heavy thing. but can get people on your side and keep them very sticky. So Craig delegated a little bit more to our fabulous support team this week, and clients were super happy. So that would be one thing, Craig, is just taking too much and feeling that pressure alone.
Yeah, probably right. That comes out of my background, though, having my own business and it only being myself and one other photographer. I had to take care of pretty much everything. So being part of the WOW team over the last couple of years, that's been hard because my clients have gotten so used to just dealing with just Craig that, yeah, no, you're right. And that was kind of, it's somewhat in the same thought that I had of what you would have disagreed with, where when I had my own company, I was more boutique. I wanted to keep it small. You have the mentality of get as many shoots as we can. And so we hit it. And there's pluses to both of those, depending on your personality and your goals. But, oh man, a business decision that maybe you made that I thought was completely wrong at the time. Oh, well, it was a business, but more equipment decision. And that was when we first started talking about switching over to the iPhone Pros for our video. I was super skeptical of that. Um, and we did, I think it was 3 months of A/B testing or so.
Yeah.
And consistently on blind testing, the video quality was better on the iPhone than the Sony cameras we were using. And I had to step back and go, oh no, this is the right decision. So I think for me that would be, yeah, the camera we were using for video.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Question for you, Todd. Number 17 here is we do, again, if you're just tuning in, no filter, 20 questions we probably shouldn't answer, but we're going to anyway. And we want your comments as well. Todd, what is the biggest thing that you've gotten wrong about running a real estate media company?
Well, this is a good one. I've spoken about this, and this is, I think, still holding true, but my lack of trust or delegation to the team.
Mm-hmm.
2 questions back, I mentioned that. One thing that we do different is we have a sales team. We spend a lot of money on having great people here. And when you do that and you do not empower them, then they find just some dissatisfaction in your company. Now, remember, the reason why they came to your company, to get good people, it's tough. And, we still have a small company, but to attract them from maybe a corporate job that has a 401k, retirement plan, and all these other things, they want to get out of that bureaucracy, that red tape. And they see your company as a change, and that things happen and that they can make a difference. And then when I disallowed them to make a difference, or, cut that off because everything had to go through me, and I felt so overloaded that I was the bottleneck for everything, people began to, kind of not see or they would not actually see the ability to make a change come to fruition. So that's easily the thing for me, is not trusting my people, leaning on my people.
Which goes back to the thing you just talked about with me. Yeah, it's hard letting go and trusting other people to do what you've always done. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what it would be when you think back to the C imaging days for you, Craig, or would it be anything different?
Well, see, because I had a different mindset on what I wanted out of my business, I wouldn't say it was wrong for me to want to keep a hold of those things because that was what I wanted to do. I wanted it small. I didn't want to be, I still wanted to shoot. I still want to shoot. I like shooting. I like the creative part of it. I like pleasing people and creating a product that helps people. Yeah, I don't know that it was wrong.
Okay, Craig. Okay. What's the most CEO thing that I have ever said that made 0 sense in the real world?
Uh, maybe some of the 35,000 foot terms you use, the big picture things, and we're like, wait, what? It reminds me, I had this job as an inside sales specialist years ago, and we had this sales manager that, I swear, Todd, if there was a business buzzword, he used it somehow. And I can't even think of all the examples right now, but this is one of the most rebellious things I think I've ever done in a job. In conjunction with one of my coworkers, we created a business buzzword bingo card. and and we distributed these to the inside sales team so that during our sit down weekly sales meeting, every time Rod would say a business buzzword, we'd mark it off on our bingo card, and then after the meeting, we'd all talk and see who won. Who won bingo? Down, cross, diagonal.
Oh my! Did he ever find out?
No, of course
Okay.
not. Of course not. He probably would not have laughed either. We had a blast, but no, nothing's been a disaster that you've said. It's good
Well,
at that.
That's kind of you. I'll just continue to speak in my let's all be aligned, and we're going to communicate and lean on each other, get rid of silos.
So
and,
yeah.
1, 2, 3 team.
All right. We wouldn't have a podcast if what you said ended up being disaster.
Well, okay, let's modify that. We would have a podcast because we pay for this software to push it out.
Right.
But would anybody listen to it? And
There
they're
you
all
go.
going, "Hey, Todd, you haven't made sense since ever." So
They just tune in for the entertainment value. Anyway, okay, let's move on. All right, Todd. Next question. Again, I hope I don't lose my job on this one. This goes back to the title of the episode, 20 questions we probably shouldn't answer or maybe shouldn't ask. Here's the question, Todd. What do you actually do all day?
the thing I'm a bit offended about this because AI wrote this question and AI works with me all day, so it clearly doesn't have much confidence in me.
Right. I say, Todd, I do your job for you now.
Craig, this makes me think back many years ago.
Okay.
2000 and probably 6 to 2010 maybe.
Mhm.
And I was still 2008 maybe. I was still dating my wife, Jessica, who's my wife now. We are engaged, and we would go over on Sunday afternoons after church to my in-laws' house. And, we'd get a very Ohio thing here. We'd have a bucket of chicken and some mashed potatoes and it was always a bit curious as to, by my seat where I sat at the table, there was always the newspaper. Okay. For those of you that don't know, the newspaper actually used to be delivered to your house every day. And inside the newspaper existed the jobs section.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, this was Indeed. This was the printed Indeed of that day. And I always kind of wondered why my in-laws left the job section on my chair on Sunday afternoon.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Next family gathering, I'm asking Kevin about this.
Yes, please do. And he will tell you, like, I make them, and they're fabulous in-laws.
Yeah.
I love them to death. They're so good to us, but I think way differently than they do. Kevin and Deb, they're the type of people who have, they have worked every day in their life. They work hard. At one point, Kevin was working 2 or 3 jobs. He's still working hard. In fact, he just announced his retirement, which I'm super happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
But my way of living by, I don't know what, me hustling out there and not having like a role at a company just really threw them off. They were like, "Hey, like this dude is engaged to our daughter. Like, is he going to be able to provide?
Take care of her." Yeah.
So, and rightfully so, like I will do that to my future, kids that are going to marry, the people that come into our family that are going to marry my kids, especially my daughter. But that is one thing that I was like, I kind of have a thing going, a good thing going. And I just, but it was them protecting Jessica, which I appreciate 100%.
Yeah. So what do you actually do all day? No, think about this though. We've talked so much over the last couple of years of doing this podcast of time tracking, delegating things, and you have delegated a lot of things away from your day-to-day responsibilities that you used to take care of. So maybe in 2 minutes or less, describe what it is that you do as an owner of a company and how what you've delegated has freed you up to do these things.
Yeah. So Craig, what I do every day is I've tried to change what I do, and my actions are way different than doing work. I am more thinking at a high level. I'm making sure that teams are connected. We joke about the 35,000-foot view. That is really what I'm doing. I'm looking for inefficiencies in business. I'm asking for reports back. I'm asking how I can help to other leaders in the company. I try to be the personality too. I try to be the person everybody can get a laugh at every once in a while. It's always good if people can laugh at the person the owner of the company. And so a lot of my days, I have some meeting heavy days, and I still work with some clients on the Spiro side. And but I will tell you that if you go through this transition, or as you go through this transition at your growing company, you will have days where you walk out and you go, "What did I do today?" And I still have that. And I go, wait a minute. I thought about what direction we were heading. Like, you are paving the road 5 years, 10 years ahead of yourself. And somebody has to sit there and think about that. And then you have to go make sure all your people or the people that report to you are okay. So those are the things that I do the largest. And when I look at my time tracking, if I'm having good conversations with the people that report to me and I'm thinking, yes, literally thinking time, I have learned, and as unnerving as it still is, I have learned to be okay with it because I know that's what's needing done for the companies that we run.
Makes sense. Good answer. Thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure. Okay, Craig, last one's for you.
Huh?
What is the worst sales pitch you have ever given to an agent? And did they hire you anyways?
Okay. Yeah, I've got this actually. It's amazing I even got into this field with this. So my very first client that I ever sat down with, Scott, I showed him 2 listings that I had shot for free, one of which was a very dark house. And I had my ISO cranked up so high because it was so dark. And even with lights, it just was not helping. There wasn't a lot of lights to begin with. And I'm telling you, Todd, those pictures were so grainy. There was so much noise. I don't know how he thought those were good pictures. And that was part of my sales pitch. and I showed him those pictures and one other house. The other house was a little bit better. And his eyes got real wide. He said, Craig, these are amazing. I'm taking cell phone pictures right now. And he gave me a 12 shoot contract on the spot to help me buy a better camera.
So wait a minute. So he said, wow, Craig, these pictures are amazing. Here's 12 shoots so you can go buy a new camera.
Well, I told him that one of my goals was to upgrade my camera. He's like,
Okay.
well, how much would you need to buy a new camera? And I told him, well, I'd need this much. And he said, well, how many shoots would that be? And I think I probably told him, probably 12 shoots. And he agreed to a 12 shoot contract. And then he ended up being my biggest cheerleader and helped me get my business started. Todd, they were terrible pictures. I would be so freaking embarrassed to show those to anybody in this field.
I'm going to see if I can find those, Craig.
No, they're gone. they're long gone.
Hey, if any of you have your worst photo, we used to do a very high dynamic range, like just an very unnatural photo.
Those fantasy type photos. Yeah.
Yes. And also we used the angle down on almost every shoot. I would literally hold the camera and angle down. I thought it was really cool. It was drone before drone existed. And finally, an agent in Columbus, Jeremy, called us out. He's like, well, there's just something like, look at your verticals. I had no clue what he was saying. Like, Jeremy, what do you mean? Like, these are better. He's like, no, look at these lines. I was like, oh, no. So if you have your worst shoot or one from the early days, post it below. Let's have some fun together.
There you go. All right. We hope you enjoyed this episode. It was just something goofy, fun. Yeah, but 20 questions we probably shouldn't have answered, let alone asked. This is busy season. You're probably stressed. I've had a stressful last 2 weeks, and sometimes you just need to let loose a little bit, laugh, have a good time. But yeah, we'd love some feedback and participation, and answer some of these questions with us. Leave a comment. If you want to drop us an email, we'd love to laugh with you. hello@spiro.media. Todd, thank you so much. This was a fun one.
This was fun. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up the Spiro podcast this week. Take a breath. It's crazy busy. We get it. Just be thankful for the blessings in your life. And we'll see you next week. Have a great one.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.